Hi, 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 hi. Everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you are doing well. And it is time for another installment of our weekly track roundup, where I go over what I felt were the worst and the best tracks of the week. They are linked down below, of course, like usual. Let's go over these tracks, shall we? Of course, I want to give a shout out to our Turntable Lab link down in the description box, our Patreon link down there as well, if you want to use that to get some extra bonus monthly content and support us and everything we do in the process. That Turntable Lab link, we get kickback from it if you want to buy some vinyl of some stuff we have reviewed on the channel as well. And let's get right into the worst tracks of the week. We have a handful over here. Bam, one, we have Party Next Door crossing over with Trippie Redd on a track called Excitement, which I think is a bit of a mistitle. It should have been titled Excrement, not Excitement. Excrement, not Excitement, because the vocals are terrible and it's dreadfully boring. It's like the worst aspects of Trippie and Party Next Door coming together onto one track, please. Moving out from there, Noah Cyrus sounding like a cheap knockoff of her sister on this track, Young and Sad. Very sad, to say the least. Moving on from there, Metallica has come through, I guess as a response to the whole pandemic thing, with a 2020 version of Blackened that they did from home. Doesn't sound that great. So far less superior version of the track. But hey, if you're a diehard fan that just wants to hear a bit of a new take with much weaker production and a sound that has far less bite than the original, sure, why not? And we also have a new track from Jonas Brothers over here, X, featuring Karol G, and the vocals on it are trash. God, the singing is bad on this one. It's actually excruciatingly bad. Like it's so pitchy and so nasally. It's really unflattering. Like vocally, one of the most unflattering Jonas Brothers songs ever, but. And finally, we have a track from Future over here featuring Young Boy Never Broke Again, Trillionaire. Not going to talk too much about this one as I am going to review Future's new project this week. So not really going to get too deeply into it. All right, let's move on to the tracks that I thought were meh, worth shouting out, worth pointing in your direction. You might like them more than I did. One, we have a track over here from Tao and the Get Down, Stay Down. Which is Tao has been around making music for a long time in the indie scene. And I think over the years has not really gotten her flowers. I can't proclaim to be a fan or anything like that. My significant other is into the record, the new record a little bit. And I do like the vocals on it. Vocally, I think one of the most interesting Tao records so far. As far as like indie goes, I think a lot of the instrumentals are pretty boilerplate and very so-so. But I recommend this track over here for sure, Pure Cinema. It's got a good hook. I just wish, again, instrumentally it was a bit more ambitious and adventurous. All right, moving on from there, Lil Skies, Riot. While I was not blown away by this track, I will say I think this is one of the catchier Lil Skies tracks I've ever heard. The flow is like really captivating right away. Really quick head bob on this one. And I'm liking the energy. I'm liking the charisma on this track. I think this is one of Sky's more charismatic tracks too. So I don't know. Hopefully we're on an upward trajectory here. We also have this track from Polo G, Beautiful Pain, Losing My Mind. Not sure if I'm going to cover this new record this week. I guess we'll see. Although as of right now, I don't feel shy about throwing maybe some of my general thoughts out here on the record. While I do appreciate and I do like that Polo G does a really good job lyrically and vocally kind of conveying the tragedy and pain of his life and his just general experiences into song. I think I think a lot of the singing and vocal deliveries on the record are weak. I think the production much of the time is so-so. Again, when it comes to substance and emotional potency, I think he is a cut above quite a few rappers out there who might kind of be working with a similar sound. But I think the vocals and just beats are going to have to be a lot better if this is going to be like, a total knockout in my view. Moving on from there, Young Lean, Acid at 7-Eleven. Some cool, weird, trippy qualities to this track over here. I'll talk more about it and more about other tracks as I cover this one this week. I think I may. But I didn't really care for how redundant it was. I feel like it had some cool moments. It had some cool ideas, but Young Lean really kind of drove them into the ground and just beat them like a dead horse mercilessly to the point where anything redeeming about this track became stale by the end of it. So I don't know. Moving on from there, Katy Perry, I think, comes through with one of her most so-so singles in a while. I think that the ending is pretty intense and explosive, and the vocal performance in that leg as well is very good. But a lot of the verses on this track are completely forgettable and bland and tasteless and really lacking in terms of a strong melody. The chorus is much better. But I feel like the track doesn't really kind of wow until its final moments. Daisies is the name of the song, obviously. And I don't know. I think Katy Perry has been on a somewhat weak string of singles as of late. I hope that this is not indicative of a bad album coming around the corner. We also have Joyner Lucas and Will Smith this track over here. This remix of Joyner Lucas's Will. I'm not going to hate. It's cute that they linked up. It's cute that they got together and made a thing of it. I appreciate it for what it is. I don't hate it. It is corny. Yes, it is corny. It's very corny, but it's heartwarming. It's heartwarming as well. Moving on from there, we have a new track from Everything as well. While this one was not as bad as their last track. It's still kind of a weird, quirky piece of pop that I think isn't really kind of playing to the band's strengths. I guess I'll just leave it at that. All right, we have a couple of tracks from Brockhampton as well that has just dropped. M.O.B. and then Twisted, featuring Ryan Beatty and Christian Alexander. A lot of the same downsides as the other recent cuts, like could have been structured better, a little rough around the edges, but simultaneously some cool, daring ideas here and there. I liked the southern hip-hop influences on M.O.B. and some of the gang vocals on there, although Twisted I felt was pretty underwhelming generally from front to back, but I think with better production and better vocal layering, it could have been more beautiful and engaging. And we have a track over here from Behemoth as well, A Forest, featuring Niklas Kvarforth, which, I don't know, just had a very, very bland chord progression, uninteresting guitar tremolo leads, and a really overbearing lead vocal too. For sure it's nasty, sure it's in your face, sure it is grim like a good Behemoth track is, but there are some qualities about it that I think could have been much better. Getting into the string of best tracks over here, really, really quickly, gonna bust them out. We have this awesome track from Wailin Storms over here that I want to recommend to you guys. These guys are a noise rock band that are pretty heavy and incorporate some other elements of loud rock genres into their sound. Rope is the name of the track. Vocal performance is pretty harrowing, and the guitars are heavy as hell. Also, Tkay Maidza comes through with Shook. New single, new track. It's a banger! A lot of Missy Elliott vibes on this one. Do not miss it. It is quite great. Also digging this new Standin' on the Corner track. It is a very odd cross-section of spoken word and avant-garde jazz, and just it literally is like going to frickin' space. It's totally insane. I am very curious to kind of see where the weirdo left field jazz collective kind of takes things next. We also have a new banger from slowthai as well, Magic, which is pretty stripped back and raw, but his insane vocal delivery kind of makes up for, I guess, the overall simplicity of the track. Production-wise, beat by Kenny Beats, though. beat by Kenny Beats on this one. And we have a new track from Perfume Genius, or not really a new track. I mean, the new record is out. So every track on the record is out and it's new. Jason is the title of the one that I want to point in your direction. Love it, but don't want to talk too much about it as I am going to be reviewing the record this week. Also going to be reviewing this new week, also going to be reviewing this week the new Moses Sumney record. So make sure to give this track a try as well, at least this, if not the whole album. Bless Me. I think this is quite good. And, this guy over here, Dear Mari, I Got Friends. This track turned up in my inbox, was intrigued by the weird music video, but won over by the song. It's a cute banger about friends, having friends, being friends and loving your friends and being a nice, friendly guy with friends. We also have a cover over here of Teenage Dirtbag from Sega Bodega. Shout out to Sega Bodega. And Dorian Electra, which is quite beautiful. The more I listen to it, the more I want to cry. It's breathy, simple, and just kind of vocals. It's beautiful. And Deerhoof over here, want to give a shout out to another track off of their new full-length album, which is dropping at the end of this month, Damaged Eyes, Squinting into the Beautiful Overhot Sun. The more I listen to the new teaser tracks, the more I am enjoying how noisy and simple and rudimentary a lot of the new material is. I'm curious to see if it really ends up kind of warming up to me once I listen to the entire record. And CupcakKe Grilling Friends is the name of her new banger over here. She's Bakwada. And a lot of fierce lyrics and bars on this one, hard-hitting beat. Her aggressive flow and delivery is totally just unstoppable on this one. And, also a Carpenter Brut, finally coming through with a studio version of a track that I guess has been in live rotation for a while. A cover of a Maniac, whoa, whoa. And, also a Fortet remix of Caribou over here that you should most definitely check out, that I think is quite funky and groovy, very good. And Amnesia Scanner track over here that I'm digging quite a bit. Do not miss out on this one, as it has some pretty abrasive experimental vibes to it, kind of a Kanye influence as well at some parts. AS Tearless featuring Lalita. Give it a try, give it a shot. It's nuts. And also the 1975 Guys. I like that this track is super catchy and yet dreamy and intoxicating as hell. This new string of singles for their latest record have been really hit or miss for me, but simultaneously, every track seems to come from a totally different place in terms of vibe, emotion, musical style. So pretty intriguing. I wonder how many bases are going to be covered across this very lengthy new album they have coming out very soon. So I don't know. Guys, I'm digging it. And that is it for the weekly track roundup. Hopefully you got some good recommendations out of this video. I will see you in the next one. Anthony Fantano, weekly track roundup, forever.